doing today? Just realized that you couldn't hear the desktop music at all. You know, just to be fun. Just for the fun of it. Why not make it completely inaudible? Alright. Hi there. How are you all doing today? I know today is a Friday here in Australia, which is like, woo, weekend. And I'm an hour late. Later than I planned to be. Albeit, it's not like I've got like a punch card. Can you imagine if like all streamers had like punch cards? It was just like, oh yeah, just clocking in for the time being. Like, no, that's not realistically like how it would work, I can imagine. But I'm amused by the idea of there being some kind of like card system, like that all streamers have to like punch into as like a, hey, here's a time. You keeping track. I mean, to be fair, Twitch does in fact keep track of like the hours we stream and like has a chart for it and everything. You can like go back and see like how much you streamed on any given day and be like, oh, cool. So I streamed like 8 hours on this day and then like 2 hours on the next day. Because to be fair, longer streams do take more out of you, so like then you're just like, yeek, don't want to do anything, and you're just like, nap time. It's time to nap. Albeit, I just suddenly realized that it has been 2 months, and I hadn't put the 2-month badge up there like I planned to keep track of how long I've been streaming. Like, I totally missed the 1 month anniversary. Not that I'm one of those people that like celebrates 1 month anniversaries. Have any of you ever like dated someone who's just like, oh hey, like we celebrate 1 month anniversaries, and like then you have to do like month anniversaries, and it's just like, this isn't a thing. Month anniversaries don't exist. I don't know what planet you're living on, but month anniversaries do not happen. Don't know who told you that they did. I bet it was some chick that you dated like way long time ago who just wanted extra presents. It wasn't that they actually believed in their soul that there was such a thing as a stream anniversary, or like as an anniversary for like per month. No, they completely 100% didn't believe it themselves. They were like completely, no, they're just on a whole different page with it. They're like, it's not a thing. We don't know what planet you're living on either, but it ain't it. And they just like were fine with it because they're like, ooh, presents. But of course that meant they also had to get you something. Whether or not the thing was of the same like high level, I suppose depended on like the girl. I'm sure some gave good presents while others like didn't. It really must depend on the kind of person there, of like whether or not they put a value in like also returning the same level of present as they receive. You know? Perfectly reasonable either way. But there's no such thing as like a month anniversary. Like, it's not really a thing, and those people that celebrate it, because I know there are people out there in this universe who celebrate it, and I'm like, at what point do you stop celebrating month anniversaries? Is it like once you hit like 12 months, and you're just like, cool, we're just gonna do like every 6 months, every like 12 months, we good, we Gucci, we fine. I can understand celebrating like 6 months, because it's like half a year. That's a fairly long time for any relationship. You know, especially if you're young, 6 months is a long time in your life. And then a year, like then yearly after that. But imagine if you meet someone and they're like, oh, you're celebrating your anniversary? Yeah, what is it? And they're like, oh, 14 months. Cool. It's like when people tell you their kid's age and they're like, oh yeah, they're 16 months old. And you have to like do math. And you're like, bitch, I didn't come here to do math this morning. No, you tell me like exactly how old they are. I know that you're saying months, and then you realize like, I remember seeing a comedian talking about like the reason that she thinks people like parents do this is because that's the last time they had proper sleep, and I'm like, I believe it. I could actually believe that would be the reason behind why. I'm like, completely understand. I myself I was watching like this one YouTuber who like did not think she was gonna have kids ever. Her and her partner had come to like some greater peace with the fact that they were never gonna have any. They were gonna be aunts, they're gonna be uncles, they're gonna have kids around in their life, but they were never gonna be parents. She fell pregnant. Honestly, so happy for her. Sweetest person. In fact, she had it during like a peak of like drama on the internet, and there's just like all this other like drama and stuff happening, and then there's just like her announcement of like that she was gonna be a parent. I was like, oh my god, of all things to like get announced and happen in this like window of time. This is like the coolest thing ever. So yeah, she just like came out and was like, yep, this is where we're at. And I'm like, oh my god. That's... Thank you for the follow, Come Honor. Welcome to the Bear Cave. Hope you enjoy your time here. How's your day going? I hope you're having a great day. But yeah, like, she announced it, and she was just like, oh my god, this is... Because she honestly didn't expect it. Like, everyone in their life was, like, amazed, surprised. There was a bunch of medical reasons, which is why she thought she was never going to have any. Which, like, fair enough. I can understand that. Like, she'd reached the point where, like, people asking her about it, it, like, still made her upset, but she'd come to a greater peace with it. Of, like, this is just the way it was. Well, she now has, a beautiful son. I'm very happy for her. But she also is just, like, she's like, she misses sleep. And that's the thing, when you have, like, younger kids, especially, you seem to lose a lot of sleep. Once they hit, like, primary to middle school, they kind of, like, spend a bit more time on their own, so they don't keep you up as much, it seems. But again, not a parent, not an authority on it, so don't take my word for it. I'm sure that, you know, in all possibility, there's someone else that's out there. So you never know. The closest I have to my children is like my drawing tablet and my Switch. I'm just like, some people like buy themselves like purses or like really nice cars. I buy myself a drawing tablet, which actually has a purpose. I made these two little sub badges over here, and like basically all the emotes and badges for this channel, and like, so it had a purpose. I did in fact I have gotten a use out of it. I do drawing. I've decided to finally do drawing fully on Saturdays. So, fun story, I finally decided to come with like a proper schedule. So on Fridays, I'm going to do Stardew Valley. On Tuesdays, I'm going to play Animal Crossing. And on Saturdays, I'm going to do art. Now, I have a bunch of the other days labeled as bonus streams, so I'm going to do at least one bonus stream a week, possibly two. Now, the only thing that'll change my scheduling at all is if there's a big game that comes out that I'm like, oh my god, we're playing it. Like, that's probably the exception. It's like, for instance, today, WarioWare came out. It's not big enough for me to, like, disrupt the stream schedule. However, Pokemon is. So when Pokemon Diamond Pearl comes out, that one's gonna cause a disruption to the stream schedule, and it's fine, because I'm okay with this. I'm just like, cool. It's gonna happen when we get there. Excellent. So I found, like, because I was sitting up and I was like, look, you never have any idea what you're gonna do. I, like, wrote out, like, what I was gonna do for each stream, and it was just, like, it was kind of chaotic. Because I had this big chart, and I was like, look, you could do this. Or you could have a base schedule and then just, like, change it week to week as need be. So that's where we're sitting with, like, what kind of greater decision I've come to in relation to it. But yeah, so today's Friday, so I'm playing Stardew Valley. So when I last was playing this game, I made a mine farm. I hadn't done a mine farm in ages. The last time I did a mine farm, me and a friend were gonna do a co-op game together. We played together once, and then we never played together again in Stardew Valley. Like, I essentially was just like, cool, what do I do with this farm? And I was like, dude, do you want to play, like, co-op again? And she was like, nah, I'm kind of busy. And I was like, alright, cool, I'm just gonna delete the farm, because I don't need it, and I'd like to make any slot. Because the thing is, on the Switch, you can only have 5 saves per account. So technically you can have, like, 40 if you, like, save 5, like, on every single account, and you have 8 accounts. But it's still a lot of accounts to have, just to have more save files. So I typically only keep, like, 2 to 3 on the Switch at any given time. Usually, like, my oldest one stays, which is, place called Honeywood. Here, I'll show you. So, like, this is currently, I think, my oldest one. These two are my 2 older ones. 2 oldest. Because I deleted a lot of the, like, beginner ones I had. My very oldest farm was a river farm. Was the one with, like, all the fish because I'm a sucker for fishing. So as a result, these are here. The one for today that we're doing with is this one. So you can kind of hear, you'll be able to hear the sounds from the Elgato, but I kind of like stardew music in space, so it's fine. The stardew music is pretty good sometimes, but like so much of the game they don't like have music. So I was like, okay, cool, no music. Here's the problem with like thunder and lightning being expected. I don't actually have, because there's like this thing you can craft. I don't think we can craft it yet, and it like gets you like batteries, and I'm like, no, why can you wait until I have something I can make batteries with? Like, why? So just a day in the life of a hard done by farmer who's got to water all of these crops. I say like I didn't plant these on myself. It was like self-imposed on me. It's like I'm pretending that someone arrived in the night and thought, you know what you need more of? Crops. You know what you don't have enough of? Crops. So we're just gonna plant a bunch of crops while you're like asleep, so that way when you wake up you have more watering to do, because you don't have enough watering, and we just like to let you know that we care. It's essentially how I feel sometimes when I see these things. Because I want to try and finish the community bundle in the first 2 years, if I can. Now, if I can finish it in the first year, hooray! But some of the items would have to come from the traveling cart, if that was to be the case. So I'm not counting on the traveling cart, I'm not counting on finishing it in year 1. I'm counting on finishing it by the end of year 2. Because it's not what you would call a challenging task. It just like, it takes a minute. It's kind of like that nice friend that you like have all your life, and then you're just like, oh, cool. Feelings, excellent. Like, you know, like rom-coms, so they're always like, oh my god, I just saw him as my friend. Why is he blah blah? And it like, they were always there and helpful because they cared that way. And I'm like, dude, you had to have known at some point, right? You couldn't have honestly been this blind. Apparently they can. Who knew? Boop. Hops. Tomato. We're just waiting, I think, now on corn. I'm pretty sure. Whew. Do you remember those moments where you're just like, why are my eyelids so, like, droopy? And I know why my eyelids are droopy. It's because I didn't get a lot of sleep, honestly. I'm, like, low on the sleep meter, and I'm like, it's not going to be a long stream, purely on the premise of, like, I need some sleep. Like, genuinely need sleep. Because I just, like, for whatever reason, I like put off studying and I was procrastinating doing work, and so as a result I ended up doing like one of my essays at like between 2 and like 6 a.m. like this morning, and I had 1.5 hours sleep before I had to go to work. I was falling asleep standing up. You know where you're just like, you're standing and you can just like feel yourself falling and you're like, catch yourself. I had that for like an hour and a half. I was standing up, I was like completely blacking out on certain sections. I had a customer, and like there is a part of our conversation I don't even remember. I was taking notes during it, and the notes are entirely gibberish. And so I like copy that section and delete it, because I was like, dude, what were you thinking? What happened here? So I know that, like, my body was just having a, like, moment of, you need to stop. Here's your limits. You found them. Hard limit. Right here. It was just ringing one of those, like, alarm bells, like, ding, ding, ding. No. Because I like, yeah, I enjoy being a night owl. I enjoy staying up later, but there is still a limit to, like, what you can do with it. It's not what I would say is recommended as like a thing to do like crazy hours. Be like, you know what? The kind of life I need to lead is I need to lead a life where I just spend the entire day and like completely exhausted. That's the kind of day that you're like setting yourself up for. Regardless, I had a friend at work who was like kind enough to get me a bottle of Mountain Dew because I was totally flatlining. Like, not like, you know, death flatlining, but like the other kind where you're just like completely incoherent. And I was just like standing there like waving my arms like this, going like, woo, I can move my arms. I was doing that, standing full up at my office, being like, I'm gonna stretch, reach all the way down to my ankles and hold it there while this customer talks to me on the phone. And I'll be like, yeah, that sounds fascinating. Yeah, that is totally being written down right now. It was not, in case you're wondering, I was not in fact writing anything down. I did write, like, obviously you write stuff down, you write stuff, some they say, but I stopped doing, like, word for word writing things down ages ago. Because it's just not, like, a good idea. Regardless, as you can see, I'm making some progress on these things. I think the closest one is the fish ones, and they're just like, no, you can't sell a thing of non-description. You can't do that. So I'm like, fine. We're just gonna slowly work our way towards this other thing and live with her telling us off for the cabbages. Because I'm like, what could possibly happen if you, like... I mean, this town doesn't have, like, a jail. Does it? Does Stardew Valley have a jail? Because if it does, I've honestly been missing it. You know, like that jaywalker. You know, like, I've been trying to find you for hours. And here I am just jaywalking. Arrest him. Can't see it happening, but it put a good fear and a good run into him. I legit once was like watching, like playing Stardew Valley, and like where did my train of thought go? I like see, you can tell that it like my brain just like ka-flew, because it was like, that train of thought there. Yeah, that crashed into you're never gonna know what it was supposed to be, Mountain. Enjoy. Honestly, that's the easiest way for me to tell. Like, making sentences that make absolutely no sense. Saying words and them being, like, either wrong or, like, grammatically wrong, because I love paying attention to the grammar and, like, kind of casually, like, looked at, like, the rest of it, whereas other people I looked at the rest are like, oh, all these things in the vocab this way, and I'm like, yes, and there's like notes for it over there, and they're like, no, we'll figure it out, and I'm like, great, I mean, sure, she'd love to be figured out. That's like everyone's life dream. Sometimes I'm like convinced that my rambling is just like absolute like nonsense, and I'm like, cool. Wonder if anyone wants to hear my absolute nonsense. The answer, personally, I think on some greater skill level is probably a no. I'd almost entirely say it's a no. Which is perfectly fine, because I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, you'll eventually restart. Theoretically. It's just a process. But yeah, like, the other thing that I've been, like, doing a bit more recently is drawing. Because it, like, creatively, it fascinates me and excites me. You know? Honestly, if Stardew Valley starts making me too sleepy, I might actually skip over to Hades just because that game always wakes me up for whatever unbeknownst reason. Maybe it's the music. It might just be the music. Oh, it's one of those like moments of like, is it the music making me tired or is it just me making me tired? So we're gonna try this and see if that fixes anything. It's like when I'm on the train. So when I was a little like baby, I was a nightmare to get to sleep. Like a genuine like pain in the ass. However, if you put me inside a car or some kind of public transport of some kind, I wasn't half bad, you know? I just kind of like pass out. Like, I'm not sure it was intentional or anything. Or like my mom, she eventually started to intend it because you were supposed to like put babies on top of like washer machines inside their thing. Some people were like, oh my god, we have like a whatever kind of washer machine. I was like, no, you just need one of those ones that have like a flat top. Stick the kid on it for like you can sit there and read a book. It's not like you're being told to put your kid on like a washer machine and just like fuck off. No, that's not what's being said. Sometimes I like seeing these like little spatty arguments. So you could be like, oh, between like imagine if these rocks were people and it's like they're having a spat and then they see that their friends just like being hiyad with the pickaxe and like, haha, you thought you were gonna have the last laugh? Sorry, I had the last laugh. And that last laugh came as hiya. I don't know if I'm making any sense whatsoever. I'm honestly like convinced I'm just too tired to function. I'm giving it another like half hour. And if I'm really too tired to function, I will just like do a longer stream on Saturday. I'll do some Stardew if that's the case on Saturday after art. Just like make up for this like momentary catastrophe that I've decided to bring myself in on. Because I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. You're doing great, sweetie. You're not entirely exhausted whatsoever. You didn't just like I was talking with someone, like, and I just realized that like I'd closed my eyes and just gone to sleep in the middle of them talking to me, and I was like, oh cool, yeah, no, I'm still here. My brain is still in fact conscious and in this very vicinity. Thank you so much for asking. Okay. Why? And did I get anything special? Because if not, we're just... No, that's a no. We're just... I'm not destroying a plant. Who lets me destroy a plant? Who? Who thought, oh hey, you know you don't need your plants? The pickaxe near me is just dangerous. Honestly. Honest to God, it is just dangerous. Yeah, so tired. I just want to have a curious look at something. So I recently, like, I'm just gonna have a chat for a minute. So I recently got, like, these couple of games here, all on sale. Like, they look so good. Hoa, Hungry Dragons, Luna's Fishing Market, Kataria Fables, The One-Eyed Lee, and The Dinner Party. They all look fascinating to me. On, like, a... Like, because none of them are, like, big third-party games, right? Because the big ones are ones like WarioWare, Animal Crossing. I love Animal Crossing, don't get me wrong. But recently in the past, like... I want to say probably... maybe 2 years? Games just, like, haven't had the same thing to them. Hey, Hatsune Miku, how are you doing today? I think I've actually decided to switch over to just chatting because I'm like, my brain just isn't here for Stardew today. It is a shame that that's the case for my brain and how it's going. But I'm like, It's not going to happen. So we're gonna have like a chat. Join in on the chatting fun. It's as good a title as any for that. Yeah, cool. So how are you doing, Hatsune? I hope you're doing well. I'm going to change to that. Hello. Nah, like, I decided on having like a stream schedule where like I'd set certain days for certain things because I thought it'd be a bright idea. It still is. It is in general, in fact, a bright idea, and I will normally be sticking to it. In fact, I'm gonna have to make up for the fact we're not getting Stardew today on a different day. So I will in fact replace the Stardew day somewhere else. It's just like, you know those times where like there's so many like when you're playing a game and you're like there's so many things I gotta think about, there's so many things I want to do in this, that it's just like a mental checklist of like shit you gotta do in the game, and you're like, why? I was actually speaking with someone and they like regularly make checklists for Stardew Valley of just like things that they've got to do. Just woke up watching Medea's family reunion, bought the 9 film collection yesterday for $35. Wow, that's pretty good. That's a good steal. If like it was only $95. I haven't seen like what the Medea family is, but that's cool that they did a reunion. I know Buffy did a reunion. There's a bunch of shows recently from like when I was younger, like the shows that were either coming out as I was a child and I watched as like a teen and adult, or there's the ones that were like came out like 10 years ago ish, or like 30 or 40 years, like the ones that, and they're all doing like reunions. Most of them, the ones from when I was younger, all still have their full cast, which is cool. The farther back you go, of course, the more cast gets lost. You know, because they're busy, or they don't care and don't want to be attached to the franchise anymore, or like, whatever other reasons. This was your first one, apparently? Oh. Cool. Well, that's cool. I don't know. I like reunion shows, and I like reunion seasons, like when, say for instance, a show has been over for years, and it's like, it's in a good place, it's in a good, like, setting, and you're like, cool. It's kind of just, like, floating off into the distance, and we don't need to worry about it anymore. That's the time when you're like, okay, let's do a reunion season. Kind of like what Gilmore Girls did, but, like, better. Because I'm still kind of annoyed with how Rory turned out. I was like, Rory, what happened? Some people are saying, like, have used it as an example of, like, why the free-spirited mom is a bad, like, motherly figure choice. And I'm like, yeah, sure, apart from, like, occasionally being too much of a free spirit and occasionally being a pain in the ass, like, she was a pretty decent mom. She was fairly relaxed. She let Rory get away with a lot of stuff she probably wouldn't normally have let her get away with. You know? I'm not the kind of parent that's just like, thanks for the first. I hope you enjoy it. I know, like, everyone gets a chance at it eventually, because you never know. Today, like, I always look at it as, like, today could be your day. Today could be the day that you, like, you get the first, and you get to be, like, lord it over everyone else, and be like, I am the first. Bow before me. Yeah, no, that's definitely, like, a mood, yeah. I really love the, like, noises, honestly. I've zero regrets about setting them up. You know when you set something up and you're just like, look, you could turn out great, but this could also be like a minor disaster. You know those ones where you're just like, could go one way, could go the other. Who knows? We'll find out. But before me, yeet, bow. No, yeah, exactly. I know there's this brief window where Kuribo was always trying to get like the first, and I'm like, I think eventually he like moved on. Because everyone else seemed to claim it before him. And I'm like, yeah, cool. You enjoy your peace and quiet. Someone else has already claimed the thing. I'm like, I debated trying to at one point set up so that way whenever it like redeems something happened, and I'm still considering it. Considering how to try and like connect the two, because I've seen people do it. I've legit seen people do it. So I know it's technically plausible. It's just a matter of like figuring out how to do it, which is like the real challenge, you know? Where you're like, yeah, no, that's definitely something I can do, but how easy is it to do? And do I want to do it based on like how to, you know, like if you have to change all these settings and functions, you're like, cool, so all these other things, yeah, they use this other function, well, they can get stuffed because it's not going to be here no more. Well, that's how I mentally hear that in my head. Yeah. But yeah, so I had a uni assessment recently, and you know, one would think that you'd prepare for it a long time in advance. You'd be like, woo, I'm super psyched. Not me, really. So the last assignment, submitted it, did it. It went okay, I think. Because like, I've had what I like to call, you have no clue what to play today. I mean, you can always play Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing. Tell you what, I can show you my list of games, and you can let me know if you think that you own that game and want to play it for yourself. Does that sound like a fun idea? Because I can do that. I can sort all my games via alphabetical for you. And we can just, like, go through them, and you can, like, decide where you want to sit with it. And that's a serious offer, okay? You feel free to take me up on that. Or not. All fair. Fair enough. I mean, you can do Stardew Valley. I know I was going to today, but my brain's just like, look, you have enough brain power to, like, move your mouth, speak, think of occasional thoughts, but what you don't have is enough brain power to be like, okay, so this is the list of things I need to do in Stardew Valley today, and I'm gonna do them in this order, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. So, it's like, it's just a no. My brain was just like, time out, beep, back away from the game. No. It just heard that, you know, where it's like waving the flag and you're like, no, and you see the coach on the side. The game is the coach, okay? So Stardew Valley is the coach, just on the side, like waving at you, like, come on, come over here, get over here right now, because we need to have a chat, okay? Do you not see the flag? That's what started, like, that's what my brain was just being like, no, see, get over here, we gotta chat. So it was just like waving the flag, and I was like, look, you sometimes you'll be playing a sports game and you'll see your coach waving you from the sidelines, because whatever you're doing, they're just like, you're fucked. Well, I don't know what you're doing, but it's bad. It's a bad idea. Back away from it. Come over here. Like, that's essentially like the like peak with your coach of like, you dumb fucked up. And so what you do instead is you're like, look, if I can't see you and I don't hear you and I tell you that I neither saw nor heard you, even though I know that you're frantically waving at me from the sidelines, and I like casually help someone clear up where they were earlier, ignore me. Ignore those facts, okay? None of those facts matter. That's essentially how I like feel. Because I don't fully understand what all the thing is. Because I'm like, if NBN has caused something, like, that's causing damage, shouldn't, like, that be, like, related? You know, like, say for example, it's, like, your internet, and it's the service provider, and they're, like, you think that they should, like, be handling it for you, and you're like, okay, cool. You should be the one handling it, so you handle it. Versus being like, okay, so my brother and me, he like, plays video games, and so because he plays the games in our house, it's his fault when things go wrong. Like, that's kind of like where I see the connection of, like, you have to take like, it'd be nice if things take ownership of whatever it is they need to do. Cause you haven't played that in well over. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, Stardew Valley is like fairly addictive. I say as someone who like made a save file and it's already like it's only at 15 hours, which is pretty good, but I've only streamed it, so I've streamed it 3 times for 5 hours, like 5 to 6 hours each time, and that's where it's ended up at like 14 hours. So like accuracy, I guess, the amount of time. I look at the file of it and I'm like, it's so tiny, like as an entity, and yet it's got so much information. I don't know if anyone else ever looks at like a USB or something and they're like, how do you fit so much information on this? But when it comes right down to it, you can't let me attach a turtle to it. Oh, it's just special. I don't know. When I first started playing Stardew Valley, it was one of my first games that I got on the Switch. So the first games I got on the Switch were Zelda, Breath of the Wild, like the Breath of the Wild Zelda game, and like Mario Odyssey. Now, Mario was pretty fun to play. Like, you could get up and down really cool areas, and you found all these collectibles, and it was super fun. But yeah, I don't know, some games you'll play them and they're good as like single player or they're good as multiplayer, and some games are bad as like both, or some games are good as both. Stardew Valley seems like the kind of one that's good at both, whereas sometimes you'll be playing a game with someone and they like give you the one that you've attached to your end, and they take the one back with them, and they're like fiddling around with who knows what, and you're like, oh, I can't even get a hold of you right now, can I? Oh well. Your first game on the Switch was Animal Crossing? Oh, nice. Yeah, my first game on the Switch was probably Mario Odyssey. Probably, because I got the Mario Odyssey Special Edition, which was basically just like a Switch with red Joy-Cons and the game. That's essentially what the Special Edition was. There was no engravings, there was no specialty anything like some of the later ones. That was just the way it was. But yeah, so I've been like trying all day to keep myself awake. I know I keep talking about it, but here we are. So I've tried chocolate, tried Mountain Dew, I have tried listening to heavy like 80s rock music, and I'm like, yeah, no, I love this music, but it's not helping. It's one of those annoying ones of like, you just gotta like wait for the situation to change. And you're like, oh yeah, cool. Great. Just gotta like wait it out. If I ever don't make any sense right now, purely put it down to the fact that I'm like somewhere in between like conscious and like completely out of it, which is why I'm like, I've come to the greater decision that like when the hour hits, I will probably end the stream, just because I'm like, look, you wanted to stream today. It ultimately came out as a greater disaster. In fact, I'm gonna make sure to put in my title no raids, because I don't want anyone to get this brighter idea of like, oh yeah, let's do that, a small person. No raids right now. Short stream. Cool. Oh, it's been updated. Because I'm like, look, I started the stream, I want to like relax for a little bit and chat in the stream, and then I'm probably just gonna go to bed. Honestly, I'm not even gonna raid, because I'm like, there's probably there's only us chatting. So you got the Animal Crossing Special Edition, got it 2 months ago. Oh my god, nice. I have mine over here, the like Special Edition. I think I've shared like how I ended up with it, and honestly, it's such a cute one, but it's also like they probably could have done a little bit more detail with it. It's still like cute though, so you know, bonuses. You gotta like appreciate the cuteness while you have it. I don't pay attention to titles when I read. Fair enough. Some people do, so I thought like, on the off chance something happens, I might as well give that a try. Because I was like, you never know, crazy people sometimes are still crazy, and they'll just have to, like, live with, like, placing their community into the hands of someone who's just like, cool, 55 minutes, leaving, peace, thank you so much for, and it's just like, I would feel bad. I would actually, if someone raids me while I have this, like, thing up, I will, in fact, like, carry the raid forward. I won't, like, if there's, like, people still around, I will carry it forward for them, because I'd feel bad, but other than that, no. But yeah, so, like, I tried 80s music. Like, 80s music, like, helps numb my soul. I don't know what it is about 80s hits, but somewhere inside it just, like, kind of, like, numbs it out. I don't know what it is about that era of music that does it for me. I'm like, what caused this? What is this? Why is this the feel that this music gives off? Because 90s and 2000s music aren't like that. They don't have that same kind of, like, vibe or essence to them. Honestly. They really, really don't. And I'm just like, 80s music, like, what's different here? Like, what happened? Maybe it's just, like, the era and what was going on, because, like, I know that ours was, like, middle of, I think it was, like, mid-80s, late 80s was when, like, grunge really started to come through, and it was really popular where I lived, apparently, but I didn't get to go because I was only a small child. And small children don't get to go out in the world and explore randomly, possibly dangerous places. Can't stop laughing about that. My brain just, like, went somewhere with my thoughts, and I'm like, cool. You're just giggling at yourself now. You're essentially, like, slowly losing your mind, slowly losing your marbles. You just were like, oh, cool, great. You're just gonna, like, casually have mentally lost it and fried your brain. It was a better time for music. Okay, yeah. Like, my chair is very comfortable, and it's got, like, a multiple cushions on it. Like, not, like, super comfy. You know where you've got, like, one of those super comfy chairs, and you just sit down and you're like, I've melded with the seat cushions. No one tell anyone, because I'm just, like, you just, like, kind of morph into the chair, and you're like, nah, I'm good here, chair. Thank you so much. And you just, like, become one with the chair. This isn't one of those chairs. This is a comfortable chair, but it also has a lot of cushions that make it more comfortable, because it was only, like, an office works chair, which isn't too bad, I suppose. Maybe. I have to, like, check more of, like, what kind of things the people, like, I connect with are, like, doing online. Because, you know, sometimes people are like, oh my god, you guys are such a great brother. And you're like, you know, it's just, it's like, it's a nice thing. What was I talking about? Oh, man. I'm so sorry for anyone who's here and is just listening to my, like, I'm gonna listen to this back and just be like, what the fuck was I talking about? Like, honest to God, where did my mind go? What happened? Because I'm positive I just, like, momentarily just now, like, fell asleep. Like, my brain just, like, kapoofed and checked out, and my body was still here. Like, my mouth was still possibly moving, but I just, like, essentially lost it. I essentially was just, like, vacation time. Kapoof. I actually did this earlier today. I was talking with someone, and I was like, I thought I was having a conversation with them. Like, I genuinely, like, I thought I was still going, but they were like, dude, you, like, cut out for, like, a minute and a half, and you were just, like, eyes closed, like this. Like, just sitting here with me. Like, you didn't say anything. You were just, like, gone. And I'm like, oh my god. What happened? Like, that's how you can tell that it's just, like, it's a bad day. Because I only got 2 hours of sleep. Literally 2. Like, I have no idea what I was thinking. But this is probably one of those days where I should have just been like, look, I know I said I was going to stream, but I'm not going to. So the next time I'm this tired, I think I'm going to have to go with my better judgment on it. Which is sad, because, like, when you make yourself, like, a mental stream schedule, you're like, look, I'm going to do it at these times and these days, and it's going to be great. and then it's not, and you're like, oh my god, no. What happened? Why did this occur? It's an internal disaster you have to like put up with and fulfill. I'm honestly gonna like watch. I will actually watch this back when this is all over and just be like, cool. I sound absolutely bonkers, absolutely nuts. No one should ever see this, and I just, you know, fun. I'm probably gonna unpublish it just because I'll be like, no one needs to see this like fiasco. I like to think of things where you're like, best not. As like fiascos you're trying to avoid. How successful is a whole different story, but you're trying nonetheless, which is the main point. Oh no, it's. I'm gonna stretch even though no one redeemed it, because it's just that kind of a day where like it's stretch time, you gotta stretch it out. Everyone else who's here also stretch it out. I know this is really bizarre stretching, but it helped me anyways. But no, I got the Wario game. I'm probably not gonna play it on stream, I don't know. But I'm definitely gonna play it at least on my own. And then Horsey. Gnome. I really want to have it so whenever that happens, it triggers like these to show up. You know, where you're just like, oh, gnome. Yay. Like, sometime I gotta figure out how like certain like alerts work. Like triggering the things, but I've been watching a lot of art streamers lately, like making their overlays and stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool. In the future plans, we're gonna try and make our own overlays. These sets are weird. So this set here, you know, like every pop vinyl like comes in a set where it's like, oh yeah, these couple of characters are all part of the same set. Like you gotta collect them all. This one is in it with like Charizard and like a sitting down Pikachu. Like what is that combination? Is there a secret movie I don't know about that has those three as a combination? You want to make your own overlay? Yeah, like I've made my own like badges. I've made my own like bit badges. Like I had new ones. They're like trees for the first couple, because the thing is no one's over like a K. So it doesn't matter like the higher up ones yet. I made sure just to do up to the ones that were 1K. And so it's like they're trees currently. I'm trying to change the third one. But yeah, they're trees. And then I'm like, what do I want to do after that? And I was like, So I'm thinking with my overlay, I want to try and make it kind of like tree/mushroom related, so I'm gonna spend some time like getting better at drawing mushrooms and trees, just as like a personal like thing. You wanted a cat is licking your arm. Well, cats do that. I think it's just like the salt that comes out of our body. They like naturally like it. I'm not quite sure. You only got 167 points. Oh no. You're using it all on the gnomes. And though I do in fact appreciate it, I can understand the pain. I, however, am infinity. So, you know, I can just, like, choose whatever. So, let's see. I'm gonna do this sound alert just cause. Wow! But no, like, this set completely combobbles me. And I decided to, like, prove to this one other pop vinyl. It's not here yet. It's, like, a Christmas one that I have to, like, figure out. And it's about, like, Winnie the Pooh. And it doesn't even have Winnie the Pooh. It has just Tigger and Eeyore. And I'm like, cool, great. But this one comes with Asami, Korra, Mako, and Amon. Special edition. I don't know. I really like the Avatar ones. I don't get all these pop vinyls. Some people think the pop vinyls are ugly. And I can understand why they think the pop vinyls are ugly. But I'm also like, they're really cute. So I've got ones that I've got out of the case, like Hello Kitty Gamer. who's like super adorable and like great. So I have some that are just like randomly on display, and then others are just like chilling about the place, relaxing. I don't know. It's a bizarre like reality of just like casually collecting pop vinyls, leaving some in boxes, taking some out, and just like I actually pre-ordered the like advent calendars that are coming out like in it's like a couple of months, or this month one of them I think comes out, and they're like advent calendars for like mini pops. The Pokemon one I'm kind of disappointed about because they spoiled it. They're like, oh yeah, you want to know what Pokemon are coming in this box so we don't have to deal with like crazed fans later? Well, we're just going to tell you every single Pokemon that's going to be in this box as a pop. I'm still getting it. It's still cute. I'm still probably going to forget what they all were and be like, oh my god, it's such a surprise when I open it. But yeah. I like me a good advent calendar. I actually have some from the past couple years. They're like in their own little like display cases, and I'm like, you're fine where you are. I'm just gonna leave you there. You guys can like chill out. And it kind of works for the most part. I've had to like sticky glue, like blue tack part of that one to the board, because I'm like, no, it needs to stay here probably. What? I don't know. It's just like the chaos of my room and the like lack of sleep. And I got fed, so apparently like the food is like digesting now. To be fair to me, like to be fair, the food is one of those foods that like automatically my stomach is just gonna be like, we hate you because there's cheese on this, and you're gonna be like, no, not the cheese, and then you're gonna like eat it anyways. Because, you know, why not? But, like, the cheese is worth it. The cheese is definitely worth it. Oh boy, here, I'll do it for you. There you go. You got your gnome. I gave you a little gnome woo. Oh man, I'm absolutely like casually losing. But yeah, I started thinking about like a gnome just now, and I was like, oh, gnomes. I know some gnomes. And I was like, oh yeah, those are the ones on my island. That's the thing. There's a couple areas I want to finish. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed in like 6 minutes. So I just wanted to make it to an hour in time. Because like when it's just like less than that on the timer, it's just like, you suck. And so I'm like, no, I'm going to make it to the hour mark. So I hope you can stick around and chat with me for the remaining like 6 minutes that is. So I'm actually gonna look for someone who is playing Stardew Valley, so that way if anyone came in here and was like, hey, I want to watch Stardew Valley, they can actually watch someone who plays Stardew Valley. Because, you know, it's that kind of a day where it's just like, I think it's some combination of like the weather, my food was all just like being weird, like my food like made me feel crappier or like sleepy. And I was like, excellent. Just what I always wanted. Both sleepiness and stomach cramp pain. Which, by the way, is not something that anyone wants. Ever. So, you know. Always a thing to, like, concern yourself with. Let's see. Well, that's a hat. I was like watching someone, I'm like, I know you, but you're also huge, and I don't want to like raid you. You know when you like look at someone and they're just like, hey, so I'm really tired. So I'm like, I'm making it to an hour, and then I'm gonna raid someone and go to bed. Because I didn't make my life choices very well. I was like, I'm gonna stream tonight. It's gonna be fine. I've only had 2 hours sleep. I've been awake since 7 a.m. this morning. It's 10 p.m. now. I'm fine. I'm doing great. I'm not. I literally, like, in the middle of a sentence when I was sitting here, I, like, fully clicked out. I have absolutely no idea what I was talking about before I clicked back in. I think I was just making, like, noises. I'm actually gonna go back and watch it when I'm more awake tomorrow, and I'm gonna be like, where were you going? Where were you going with this? Oh yeah, no, it was like I had 2 major assessment items, little to no prep time, work was taking up all my time, so I was like, fuck it, we're staying up till 6 a.m. in the morning to work on this assignment. I did, I regret it, I was barely conscious most of the day. Today, all my energy was taken by work, and I couldn't like nap or just like sleep in, nothing. Well, that was you yesterday, woke up at 7 a.m., didn't go to bed till almost 2. Yeah, like, it's just like that kind of a thing. So, since you're here, I don't suppose you have any recommendations for someone I could raid after this. Otherwise, I'm gonna pick someone. I don't mind if you've got a recommendation. I was debating... I know Luna's live. I was debating raiding her with, like, the couple of the people that is here. If she is still alive, but I don't think she still is. I think she, like, ended a while back, because I'm really behind with, like, alerts. I see the alerts for people going live, like, hours and hours later. You know? It's just, like, casually I'll see the alerts, I don't know, 6, 7 hours later. I'm like, oh, that person's alive. They're not. They're no longer alive. You have a friend doing a 24-hour stream? Oh, I pulled that shit last night. Week Wednesday, got up at 7, I didn't go to bed till 2 p.m. Oh no. Foxy, what were you thinking? Yeah, what are they streaming at the moment, Miku? Out of curiosity? If you don't mind me asking if you, like, know. If you don't know, perfectly fine. But I thought I'd ask. Because they're, like, there's people I know and I hang out in the streams of, and I'm like, they're really cool. But they're, like, 100 and something viewers, and I'm like, I'm reaching a bit with that. You know that moment where you look at someone and you're just like, best not. Best not. I've actually never played Final Fantasy 15. I've seen people play it, and like a couple of my friends have decided to like get into playing it, and they're like, it's so chaotic, it's so great, and I'm like, I understand. I mean, he's got 14 right now. Well, what's their like name? Why don't you interesting. Like, well, what's their like their Twitch name? I'll have a look while I'm here. Cause you know, I got a couple minutes before the hour. Bulbalite, that's an interesting name. Let's see. Interesting. Okay, I can type. Bulbalite. Why on earth am I in full capitals? You know where you're like, oh yeah, I can totally like do this kind of a thing, and then it's just like, bam, full capital letters, and you're like, when did I press capital? I pressed shift, and then you realize that they're right next to each other, and you're like, great. Glad I had this moment. Glad I enjoyed the fun. He got like less than 10 hours left. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna be awake for it. It's just gonna be like a hello, goodbye. I won't in fact be like doing a grader. So I'm just gonna like casually mute the desktop audio for a second. So I hope you enjoy the voice of me talking and no audio for a moment. Teehee, nah, sweetie. Go like, oh, so you don't think I should stay up to watch someone play Final Fantasy 14 for the next, like, 10 hours? That's not a thing I should do? You know, because I think that's the best idea ever. I don't know what I'm even looking at. I think I'm gonna chuck them a follow regardless. Check them out later. Because they look like a cool human being, honestly. Let's see. Sounds like another choice you could make. Yeah, it does sound like another choice I could make. I type quickly, bot, don't start with me. Oh, are you talking about like how the bot was just like casually like kicking your butt before? Casually? What is that? Nope. Make them stir. See, I exist a lot of the time on Twitch, I've discovered. So my like follower list is kind of like all over the place. You ever like have those moments where you're like looking at your follower list and you're like, how is there such this like scale range of like this all the way up to that? Like why is there like the thing of this like scale happening? What happened? Oh, it's just a special place. Let's see. Oh yeah, you guys can't hear the music. I'm gonna close that guy. Give you guys back the music that I can hear that you guys couldn't hear. Your bot is starting on me again. I'm saying I was messing. Oh no. Maybe it was just like you were typing too many messages too quickly. Maybe that was just having like a moment. You know? I swear I fixed it. I did try. I was like, I pressed a bunch of buttons. I pushed like things and it was like, cool. You've changed this setting, and I was like, yay! Changed it yet? No, it's definitely spotted you. It's like, look, quick typers are not like welcome here. That's essentially, it was just like the moment it was having, and I was like, please, why? Oh, okay, browse. Do. Stardew, open that. Okay, because that other list was helping me 0%. Because I want to try and hit up another Aussie, because, like, you know, it's always good to pass on the love to another Australian, albeit I do not sound like an Australian. I understand this. I accept this as a fact. Bot this bish, please make her stop. Yeah, your bot clearly hates you. Like, it's just, it's not having it. See, there's someone like, I really like her community, I really like her streams. Problem is, her follower thing is stupid. So, I actually had this with a couple people that I was like, I was surfing through these channels. And the couple of people I like followed, and do you want to know how long it takes before they're like you're allowed to chat in their stream, like their chat as a follower? 24 hours. Like literally, they have it set that you follow. 24 hours later, you can chat in their stream. I understand that I understand why they changed it. The other one I met changed it to 3 hours. So one person had it 3 hours, one person had it 24 hours. Now I understand the like. Maybe an hour, maybe, but 24 hours, like this person doesn't need followers, to be fair. They're like on live and they have 102 followers, like viewers, like live viewers right now, so they're doing fine. But I looked at this and I was just like, what the actual fuck? I just like lost it and I was just like, no, this is not okay. Yeah, this is not a like 24 hours. Yeah, I like engaging with new people too. I love that. I know I changed this, you have to follow it to chat with me, but it was like a baseline of like, this is the best way to like, as a base level, stop some bots, because some bots will just like post, they don't follow you, whereas others will follow them post. So there's like, I was like, this was a good way to like stop some of the rando bot messages. And it's like, it's 0 minutes. You follow her, you're fine. Like, that's it. And if you don't like, if you like, all you want to do is say something, and then you're like, cool, said my piece. You can just unfollow directly afterwards. I ain't gonna stop you. I'm not hurt. This isn't, like, damaging my feelings. I didn't set it at, like, 10 minutes or something. It's, like, 0 minutes. You literally click a button, you go, oh, hey, hello, peace. I know it might scare away some lurkers who are, like, they like just lurking in people's chats and don't like following. I'm like, that doesn't scare anyone away, though. It just means they continue to be a lurker who doesn't chat. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's literally nothing wrong with it. It's something that I greatly appreciate. You know? Like, you gotta appreciate the people who just, like, chill in the background and say absolutely nothing. Because, you know, there's literally nothing wrong with people just, like, doing that and just being like, look, all I want to do is relax and listen to you chit-chat. And then just, like, do my own thing. Literally nothing is wrong with it, and that's great. You know? I can get behind it. Where was she? See, this is how I know I've started following a crazy amount of people. Is like, oh look, there's all these people alive. And I'm like, excellent. I'm just gonna casually look through and cry of, like, trying to hit up all the names. Because the thing is, when I get more tired, my eye on this side starts to, like, have trouble like focusing, like actually focusing, and things get, like, blurry. And I'm like, why? Why and so I'll sit like this and I'll just be like, okay, I can see things so much clearer. Thank you so much. Like, that's essentially what happens. And so I'll be like trying, and it's even worse if I, like, look at something and then look away and look back, if it's like I'm trying to refocus, because my eye is just like, no, you did that too quickly. You need to, like, slow it down, come back around, and, you know, try again. And you're like, okay, cool, got this, 100%, I'm totally looking with my full eye, and nothing is wrong. Okay, let's see. Yes, there are the many humans. Okay. So I'm not doing that one, but I'm gonna just quickly mute the desktop audio, check this one person out, and if they're not it, we're just gonna not raid. That's essentially what's gonna happen. Because, you know, I don't believe in, like, raiding someone you don't fully, like, can't fully get. Whew. That was, you didn't see that. That was, it's, I'm so glad that got blocked. Oh boy, am I glad for you. Why the hell did it was like, kitty, stop licking me. How is that sexual? I know I turned on, like, no sexual content, but I turned that off and I specified certain words. Oh joy. Cool. They're not even there. They're on a BRB with no BRB thing. What even is today? No, found him again. They look so young. They look like a little kid. Oh, they're so adorable. I, like, was speaking with someone who was playing Animal Crossing, and I, like, went into their stream because they were doing dream address tours, and I was like, OMG, you're doing dream address tours? That's so great. I found out she was, like, 16 or something, 16 or 17. I was like, oh my god, I'm, like, a decade older than you. And I was like, oh my god, I was 10 when you were, like, born. Oh boy, it hit me in this, like, I'm an old lady feels. I didn't even know what to do. I was just like, Oh no, it was not a good moment. Alright, I'm gonna raid this person because they raided me before. Albeit they are much larger than me. But I'm doing it anyways. Cause why not? So okay, so if you guys like wanna raid with me, you're welcome to use that and copy and paste it. If not, that's perfectly fine. I understand. I really need to take the like hashtag me part, like the me part out of it. So you just like, you just have that part. I need to edit it, I think. That was from like when you did that, it like made the like color yours. I don't know if they like do that anymore though, you know? Where it's like the color like follows over. Because I haven't seen it anywhere on Twitch in ages. And I think it got removed. Anywho, that's not what I'm talking about. Thank you everyone who was here, who stuck around, who were like present through my like madness, and like the fact that I really probably shouldn't have been streaming tonight because I'm not in the right headspace for it, and like I should have thought about my own health first. Regardless, I will in fact be streaming tomorrow after I've had some sleep. And it's gonna be great, and we're gonna do art and some Stardew Valley. So I hope to see you guys here and have some fun. Say hey to Toy Tester. Bye.